Red Sea shipping disruptions have caused significant global container rate spikes. The World Container Index surged 187% from $1,382 per FEU in September 2023. It peaked at $3,964 per FEU in January 2024. This directly followed the Red Sea disruptions. Rates for the Shanghai-Rotterdam route increased 208%. They rose from $1,200 per FEU in September 2023 to $3,700 per FEU in January 2024. This route is critical for Asia-Europe trade. Rates have moderated from the January 2024 peak. However, the March 2024 WCI of $3,050 per FEU remains 121% higher than pre-disruption levels. This indicates a sustained elevation in shipping costs. Rerouting vessels around the Cape of Good Hope has significant operational impacts. The average Asia-Europe shipping distance increases by 3,500 nautical miles. This represents a 33.3% extension. Transit times for the Asia-Europe route have extended by an average of 10 days. This is a 35.7% increase in journey duration. Longer transit times reduce effective global shipping capacity. Each rerouted voyage incurs an estimated additional fuel cost of $1.2 million. This is in addition to increased insurance premiums and crew costs. These factors contribute to higher overall shipping expenses. Global container rates have experienced multiple disruptions historically. The World Container Index peaked at $10,361 per FEU in September 2021. This occurred during the COVID-19 supply chain disruptions. This represented a 640% increase from pre-pandemic levels. The Suez Canal blockage by the Ever Given in March 2021 caused a temporary rate spike. This contributed to the broader upward trend in rates during that period. These events demonstrate supply chain fragility. The current Red Sea crisis-induced peak of $3,964 per FEU in January 2024 is significant. However, it reached approximately 38% of the peak rates observed during the COVID-19 pandemic. This provides historical context for the current market conditions. Global EV sales increased 358% from 3.1 million units in 2020. They reached 14.2 million units in 2023. This rapid growth drives demand for battery materials. Global refined lithium production expanded 111%. It rose from 450 kilotons lithium carbonate equivalent in 2020 to 950 kilotons in 2023. This expansion is substantial but slower than EV adoption. The disparity in growth rates indicates a widening gap. Demand for refined lithium outpaces available supply. This creates a structural strain on the EV supply chain. China accounted for approximately 65% of global refined lithium production in 2023. This totaled 650 kilotons lithium carbonate equivalent. This dominance creates a concentrated supply structure. The combined output from Chile and Argentina represented 25% of global refined lithium. Their production was 250 kilotons lithium carbonate equivalent. These are major brine producers. Western nations and other regions collectively produced only 10% of global refined lithium. This underscores significant geographic concentration. Such concentration introduces geopolitical vulnerabilities and supply risks. Developing a new lithium refining plant requires substantial capital. Estimated expenditure ranges from $0.4 billion to $1.2 billion. This investment is critical for expanding capacity. The lead time for constructing and commissioning a new refining facility ranges from 3 to 6 years. This extended timeline reflects the complexity and technical demands of the process. These substantial capital and time requirements impede rapid supply chain adjustments. They contrast with the faster growth of EV demand. This structural inertia exacerbates current bottlenecks. Reported cyber incidents targeting the global energy sector increased 177%. They rose from 155 in 2018 to 430 in 2023. This indicates a sustained escalation of threats against critical infrastructure. The average cost of a data breach within critical infrastructure sectors rose 53%. It increased from $3.86 million in 2018 to $5.90 million in 2023. This reflects the growing financial impact of cyber attacks. 2021 saw a 29% year-over-year increase in reported incidents. This coincided with high-profile attacks like the Colonial Pipeline disruption. These events highlight immediate operational and financial consequences. Estimated annual downtime costs from energy sector cyber incidents surged 262.5%. They rose from $0.8 billion in 2019 to $2.9 billion in 2023. This reflects increasing operational disruption. Global cybersecurity investment within the energy sector increased 76.5%. It grew from $8.5 billion in 2019 to $15.0 billion in 2023. This investment aims to mitigate rising threats. Total estimated incident-related costs, including downtime and recovery, reached $4.2 billion in 2023. This represents 28% of the total cybersecurity investment for that year. The cost of incidents consumes a significant portion of security budgets. Ransomware constituted the largest single attack vector. It accounted for 25% of all reported incidents targeting energy sector operational technology systems between 2022 and 2023. This threat directly impacts system availability. Phishing and social engineering attacks collectively represented 20% of incidents. This highlights the persistent human element vulnerability in critical infrastructure security. Employee training remains a key defense. Supply chain compromises affected 15% of incidents. This underscores the systemic risk introduced by third-party vendors. Integrated software and hardware components present complex security challenges. China maintains approximately 85% of global rare earth separation capacity. This is estimated at 170 kilotons rare earth oxide equivalent per annum in 2023. This dominance creates a critical supply chain concentration. Non-Chinese operational capacity totals approximately 30 kilotons Rio equivalent per annum. This comes primarily from LINAs at 19.5 kilotons per annum and MP materials at 5.0 kilotons per annum. These are the largest non-Chinese processors. This distribution underscores a significant single point of failure risk. The global supply chain for critical rare earth elements, especially high-purity magnet materials, faces geopolitical vulnerability. Over 29 kilotons rare earth oxide equivalent per annum of new non-Chinese processing capacity is projected to come online by 2026. This represents a substantial increase in Western capabilities. Key projects include Iluka in Australia, with 17.5 kilotons per annum, and Arafura in Australia, with 4.4 kilotons per annum. MP Materials in the USA is adding 5.0 kilotons of NdPr metal and alloy capacity. Total estimated capital expenditure for these 6 highlighted projects exceeds $2.7 billion. This demonstrates significant strategic investment in supply chain diversification. These initiatives aim to reduce reliance on China for critical rare earth materials. Global desalination capacity expanded 380%. It grew from approximately 25.0 million cubic meters per day in 2000 to 120.0 million cubic meters per day by 2023. This expansion addresses escalating water scarcity. Reverse osmosis technology now accounts for over 87.5% of total operational capacity in 2023. This is a significant increase from 60% in 2000. RO has become the dominant desalination method. The average annual growth rate for RO capacity has been approximately 10.5% over the past 2 decades. This significantly outpaces thermal methods. Technological advancements have driven this shift. Middle East and North Africa region holds the largest share of global desalination capacity. It accounts for 58.0 million cubic meters per day, or 48.3% of the total. This reflects acute water stress in arid zones. East Asia and Pacific and North America represent the next largest concentrations. They hold 21.0 and 16.0 million cubic meters per day, respectively. This reflects diverse drivers including industrial demand and urban supply. Global investment in water infrastructure, including desalination, is projected to exceed $1.2 trillion between 2020 and 2030. A significant portion is directed towards new capacity and system upgrades. This underscores the strategic importance of water security. The average cost of desalinated water has decreased approximately 78%. It fell from $2.50 per cubic meter in 1990 to $0.55 per cubic meter in 2023. This makes large-scale RO plants more economically viable. Energy consumption for reverse osmosis has seen a 72% reduction. It dropped from 10.0 kilowatt-hours per cubic meter in 1990 to 2.8 kilowatt-hours per cubic meter in 2023. This is largely due to membrane and energy recovery advancements. Modern large-scale RO facilities can achieve energy consumption as low as 2.0 to 2.5 kilowatt-hours per cubic meter. This approaches the theoretical minimum for seawater desalination. These efficiencies are critical for long-term sustainability. Global front-end wafer fabrication capital expenditure peaked at $120 billion in 2022. It is projected to decrease to $105 billion by 2024. This indicates a stabilization in traditional chip manufacturing investment. Advanced packaging capital expenditure is projected to reach $32 billion in 2024. This represents a 540% increase from $5 billion in 2018. This surge reflects a critical shift in industry investment priorities. The compound annual growth rate for advanced packaging CapEx from 2018 to 2024 is approximately 36.5%. This significantly outpaces front-end CapEx growth. The bottleneck in semiconductor manufacturing has shifted to packaging. 2.5D and 3D stacking technologies exhibited average lead times of 30 to 40 weeks in Q4 2023. These technologies are critical for AI accelerators and high-performance computing. Such extended lead times impact product development cycles. Fan-out wafer-level packaging and system-in-package technologies experienced lead times ranging from 15 to 30 weeks. These advanced methods enable higher integration and smaller form factors. Capacity constraints are evident across multiple advanced packaging types. These advanced packaging lead times are 2.5 to 5 times longer than traditional wire bonding. Traditional wire bonding averaged 6 to 10 weeks during the same period. This disparity highlights the current bottleneck in the semiconductor supply chain. Taiwan holds approximately 48% of the global advanced packaging market share. This dominance is driven by major outsourced semiconductor assembly and test companies and integrated device manufacturers. This concentration creates significant supply chain risk. The top 3 regions, Taiwan, South Korea, and China, collectively account for 79% of global advanced packaging capacity. This geographic concentration limits diversification options for chip manufacturers. It also presents geopolitical vulnerabilities. North America and Europe combined represent less than 15% of the global advanced packaging market. This highlights a significant disparity in advanced manufacturing capabilities. Strategic autonomy in semiconductor production requires addressing this imbalance. The Northern Sea Route, or NSR, significantly reduces transit distances. The Rotterdam to Yokohama journey is shortened by approximately 4,000 nautical miles. This represents a 35.7% reduction compared to the Suez Canal route. This distance reduction translates to an estimated 10 days shorter transit time. This is a 31.3% saving for the Rotterdam-Yokohama journey via the NSR. Reduced transit times lower fuel consumption and operational costs. For the Shanghai-Hamburg route, the NSR offers a 500 nautical mile distance saving. This is a 23.8% reduction. It also provides a 6-day, or 20.0%, time saving over the Suez Canal. Northern Sea Route cargo volume increased from 0.1 million tons in 2010. It reached an estimated 36.0 million tons in 2023. This represents a 900% growth in Arctic shipping activity. Concurrently, the September minimum Arctic sea ice extent has shown a significant decline. 2020 recorded one of the lowest extents at 3.74 million square kilometers. This diminishing ice cover facilitates greater navigability. The inverse correlation suggests decreasing ice cover is a primary enabler. It directly contributes to the observed increase in Arctic shipping activity. Climate change is reshaping global logistics. Russia has committed approximately $100 billion to Northern Sea Route infrastructure by 2035. This aims for year-round navigation. This investment is supported by the world's largest nuclear icebreaker fleet, with 7 operational and 3 under construction. China's Polar Silk Road strategy involves significant investment in Russian Arctic energy projects. It also includes the development of research icebreakers. This secures resource access and future logistical pathways. Western nations, including the US and Canada, prioritize defense, scientific research, and sovereignty. The U.S. plans to invest approximately $5.7 billion in 3 new heavy icebreakers. These are designated as polar security cutters. Active food export restrictions peaked at over 80 in March 2022. This followed the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It represents an all-time high for such measures. This 2022 peak exceeded the 2008 global food crisis peak by 33%. The 2008 crisis saw approximately 60 active restrictions. This indicates an increasing reliance on such controls. Restrictions remained elevated for an average of 18 months post-March 2022. This indicates prolonged market uncertainty. It also shows policy persistence in managing domestic food security. India's 2023 rice export restrictions impacted approximately 40% of global rice trade volume. This significantly affected Asian and African importing nations. Such actions fragment global food supply. Indonesia's 2022 palm oil export ban affected 50% of global supply. This led to a 20% price surge in Q2 2022 for the commodity. Export controls create immediate market volatility. The Russia-Ukraine conflict in 2022 disrupted over 80% of global sunflower oil exports. It also affected approximately 30% of global wheat exports. These disruptions caused severe supply chain shocks. The FAO Food Price Index reached an all-time high of 159.7 in March 2022. This coincided with the peak of global food export restrictions. Export controls directly correlate with price volatility. This represented a 61% increase in the FFPI from January 2020 levels of 99.0. This demonstrates direct price sensitivity to supply shocks. Export controls exacerbate these shocks. The 2008 food crisis saw the FFPI rise 53% from January 2007 to March 2008. This period was marked by over 60 active export restrictions. Such policies contribute to global food price inflation.